This is a basic guide to graphing a linear equation in slope-intercept form of the form f of x equals mx plus b. A linear equation will always graph a line. That's why it's called a linear equation. On top of that, a very important thing to understand is that linear equations can all be manipulated to be of the form f of x equals mx plus b. Basically the equation that was shown at the start, which is called slope-intercept form. M in the equation is the slope of the line or the rise over the run. It's basically how steep the graph is. It's equivalent to the ratio between the change in y and the change in x. B is the value of y at which x is 0. Another way to think of b is where the line intercepts the y-axis. This is why many call it the y-intercept. After you're able to find these values, it's very easy to produce an equation for the line. So, if we start for our line here, in order to find an equation for the line, we have to first determine the slope m. The best way to determine the slope m is to choose a random point and determine how far that point has moved in respect to a previous point. Since we have a point already at the origin at 0, 0, we can use that point in respect to any other point and take the values of the coordinates of that point and take the ratio between those two, and we'll have our slope. So, since it's 3 to the right, that means that it's changed 3 x values since the origin, and since it's too high, we can calculate how fast the line is increasing. So, after it moves 3 units right and it moves 2 up, that means that for every 3 units to the right, it moves 2 up. So then that must mean that the slope is equal to 2 over 3. So, how would we find b from the graph? Well, it's pretty simple. All we have to do is find where the graph intersects the y-axis. So, since the y-axis will always be crossed by the line at a very specific point, we can simply visually verify what the y-intercept is. So, since it crosses at 0, the y-intercept must be 0. Now, since we have all our components ready to graph, which are only the slope and the y-intercept, we can plug them in and form our equation for our line. So, since the slope is 2/3 and the y-intercept is 0, we can form a pretty easy and fundamental equation to model our line. So, plugging back in for m and b, the equation for our line is going to be equal to f of x or y, whichever one you like to recognize your line as, is equal to 2/3, which is our slope, x, which is just a variable name, plus 0, which is our b in it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Like and comment which video ideas you want for next time.